But you start.
Good to go. Well, here we are at the Olympian table, and this is where sort of we're just going to let you know a little bit about us. I am an Olympian. I did Olympics back in 1984 in ice dancing, and I did a little bit of speed skating as well, and came over to America to live my dream in 95. Got involved with real estate investing, and to be honest with you, I got a bit pissed off with real estate agents because they don't really understand the full customer service. And as a real estate investor, it was important for me to sort of make my mark and live the American dream, which I really believe in to this day. Everybody should be out there living their dream. We're in the best country in the world, and there's no reason why we shouldn't go live that dream. The moral of that story is never ever say never, because I said I'd never be one of them real estate agents, and now we've got a real estate office which has got over 125 agents, and we're in most of Houston. We're one of the largest real estate companies, and it gives me great pleasure, to be perfectly honest, to serve the Houston community. So we're there as a resource, for people to buy their house, get themselves on the ladder. Nothing gives me more pleasure to be in a position where somebody buys a house for the first time and they walk into that house and they feel that they're on that housing ladder. Obviously, there's a lot of challenges out there at the moment in the real estate business. And first of all, I want to introduce a very, very good friend of mine who I've known now for a number of times, and I wouldn't use any other loan officer. His name is James Lee from Lee Group Loans. He originally joined us from some other companies, and we've kept him on board because he really, both myself and James, we have the same philosophy that good things happen to good people. And if you give good service to people, then, them are the clients that we need. We want good clients, and at the same time, we want to be good agents, basically based on good education, market knowledge, and let's just do the right thing for people. If it smells like cheese, it's cheese, and we just don't want to do it. So here we go. Welcome. And here we got James Lee. And James Lee?
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me on. It's a pleasure to be a part of the Olympian table and kind of seeing this thing kind of come into fruition. I am James Lee. Lee Group Loans is my handle, and I have been in this industry about almost 21 years now, serving primarily the Houston market. Also licensed in Alabama. Just really trying to do my best in not just being a loan officer, but being an educator to those that use my services. So that's my goal. It's been my primary goal. And of course, Steve, when we met, it was, a matter of kind of working and me building your trust.
Absolutely.
To say, hey, I'm going
when
to
we
make
had
sure
16 agents.
Yeah. So it was it was a growth moment for us because, I hadn't been in an actual relationship with a dedicated broker. But it's one that I cherish, to this day. And over the years, we've become not just, working partners, but, actually friends in the business. And that makes a difference because as a loan officer, you kind of, sometimes you can get a bad rep about, making mistakes and ruining deals. And when you truly work with someone that you trust, that has your back, even if you make a mistake, you're human and they're not so quick to kick you to the curb. So I appreciate you allowing me to be here at the table.
I've been completely messed around with some loan officers, and I wouldn't put my trust in anybody else. Beat yourself. But I can't tell you how many times I've been disappointed with loan officers and really what they've done to some of these clients, because it's not easy putting some of these loans together and being advised. It's easy to tell people the good stuff,
right?
But you know what? Sometimes to be professional, you need to be able to tell people the bad stuff, and that's one of the things I know. Me and Jim, we've had some interesting conversations over the years. But one of the things I can always say, we'll always be truthful to one another.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
And that's what's really important, especially with my clients, because if I refer somebody, I want to know that they're taken care of and they're at the top of the list. And as an Olympian, of course, part of my Olympian philosophy has always been, I learn from you just as much as you learn from me. And and if I don't know how to do anything, then at least I've got a team member that I can go to, to advise on different things. And I really feel that you offer, all my agents a very, very valuable resource because, the market changes all the time. And I'd really feel that we've developed a culture, over at Century 21 Olympian, which is, trust and for our clients. And it's amazing at times when some of our clients turn around and they go to another company and try them and they come back and they say, okay, I'm coming back to you. And I get so much satisfaction at that, but nothing gives me more pleasure than for people to walk into that house and get that sold sign and, they're now on the ladder and they've got a future investment for them and their family. And they always come back to us when they have some children and they decide they want another bedroom and we help them sell their house and they move up. That's, the more you give, the more you gain.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I totally agree with that. It's a work every day to make sure that we're serving the people. Just like you said, we have to give great service so that we can get more business, quite frankly. And if you give great service, you will get more business. And that's the kind of the mindset. And I think that's where we see a lot eye to eye with having a working relationship, but really truly giving giving the buyers and sellers, great service because that's what will sustain you.
Yeah, but I really think we've got some good team members here as well, and I think it's really good. I think I've been with other companies before, and I've always been very disappointed with the office culture. I'm a big believer in having a very positive office culture, for new agents to come in. Especially, it's such a difficult job for new agents to come in. There's so much to learn, and they're on such a quick time scale. And for the new agents coming in, I've developed the 21 Steps to Success program that we've worked on. And a lot of agents, they see it at first and they think to themselves, crumbs, is there really this much to the business? And to be perfectly honest, that's just the start. It really becomes a time management problem for new agents to come in, to learn new systems, to learn market knowledge, to understand the market, to understand, the challenges in the business. And a lot of people do not understand what goes on from a broker level with all the research that goes on in the background and, the work that we have to do to make sure that we're ahead of the wave and not behind the wave.
Right.
And yourself, you give us a lot of opportunity for that as well. So our agents are up to date. And I really think that, the real estate agent in 5 years' time is going to be completely different to the real estate agent. There's so many companies out there that I feel, and they really need to understand that the business 20 years ago is nothing like it is today. The challenges are completely different, and I really think the business model for the agents in 5 years' time is going to be completely different. It's either going to be, you adapt or you die. And that's what I really feel strong with some of the new agents coming into the business. They're actually sort of educated what it was like 10 years ago, right. 20 years ago, and I just don't think that all the business is in social media. I think social media is a very important part of the new business model. That there's other things that agents have to do to fully understand, how they're going to be. And it's the easiest part in this business is getting your real estate license. The next hardest thing is to find yourself a broker that's going to work for you and not you work for them.
Right, absolutely.
And that support is important. I've got 3 rules. The first rule is 1, never apologize for calling me. 2, call me anytime you want to. And the third thing is, get me involved with anything that you have to do, because at the end of the day, the better performance for my agents, the better performance it's going to be an experience for its clients. And that's why you're an important part of the team, because I want people to have a first-class experience. I really do. And I always say to all my agents, give every single one of your clients my direct number, and I'm more than happy to get involved and, to even help them explain things, because I want my clients to get first class service.
Right.
If it's not worth doing well, it's not worth doing at all.
Totally agree with that. It's it makes the job, if you want to call it that much easier.
Yeah. And there's so much, I think, frustration from many clients because they turn around and say, well, what's the difference between, one agent and another agent? But, the amount of times we hear as real estate agents, well, my mother's a real estate agent, and, she'll do the deal for me. And, that's their prerogative if they want to work with that. But personally, the hardest people I've ever had to work with are family members. It should be a professional relationship with professional results. It should be above and beyond. And the reason why I got to Olympics was because I was focused, and good coaching, good Olympian coaching is on the benefits of this actual skater themselves, on the actual sports person and your student. That's where your focus should be. And that's the problem, unfortunately, that happens in the real estate business. Because in the real estate business, we've had agents that we've let them go because all they're focused on is the money. And it's above and beyond that. It's not about the money. It really is. Money's an important part of it, but the important part is the client should come first. And a good agent will tell you to walk away from a deal.
Right.
A good agent will say, you know what, this isn't a good deal. You need to walk away from it, But unfortunately, what happens with residential real estate is people get emotionally involved. And I feel very, very strongly, that the client should come first. The client's interest should come first.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that, because I met with a family yesterday, and they hadn't done any application. I didn't have any documentation with them, and they informed me that they had already applied with someone else before me, and they were going to apply with their bank because they were told to quote unquote shop around. That didn't offend me at all, because my idea is about giving good service. And I even told them, I said, listen, whether you use me or not, the goal is to make sure that you get a house and you get into a loan that's going to be beneficial to you. So I'm here to answer questions if you need it. I would love to earn your business, but of course, the ultimate goal is that you, as the consumer, get the end goal, which is your. So the pressure, when you start to think that way, it takes that pressure off of, I got to get this deal. I got to get this deal so I can make this money. And it's like, okay, well, I'll get the next one. It takes a mindset shift to do that, because it's not easy. Especially a new agent getting in and they need to make some money, or a new loan officer, they want to close a deal so they can get paid, because we're all on commission. You have to grow to that mindset, because it's not easy to be there.
Well, I had a new agent in the office about 3 days ago, and she came and she says, look, I'm making a career change. I want to get into the business, and I really feel that, I want this to be my, it's my dream to be a real estate agent. And, she said, it's important that I'm able to, support myself and move on. And she said, how long will it take me to go? And I said, really, to build up a quality business, it's going to take you 2 years.
Right.
It's going to take you 2 years to build a good business. I said, what support have you got? What family have you got to help you through? You are building a business. You need to treat it as a business. And the problem is, there's a lot of people out there and other companies that turn around and they paint this bright picture that, oh no, you're going to do this. And all they're doing is letting the people down. Right. My job as a broker is to make people productive to the point where they're growing a quality business.
Sure.
It's not just a case of doing the business, but and that's the, and I think Trek do an incredible job, and HAR, Houston Associated Realtors, do a good job. That 20% of the agents do 80% of the business. You don't learn it from doing one of them classes.
Right.
I think it's important that you do them classes, for your continuing education and to stay up to date with everything. The hardest part and challenge that I have as a broker is to keep up to date with the new contracts and everything else that goes along with that. But I really think a broker's responsibility is to help an agent be productive and be there for an agent, when they're with a client showing a property that's 8:00 at night and they have a question.
Right.
That's where teamwork comes in. We had an agent in our property, I'll never forget, when it was when was at the old location, maybe 2010, 2011. She called me up one night and she said, look, I know you with with Century 21, and they was actually with another Central office at the time, and she turned around to me and she said, I can't get hold of my broker, and I wanted my broker to, to help me. And she said, I can't get hold of my broker. So she said, would you mind if I asked you a question? I said, sure, you're part of the Century 21 family. I'll help you if I can, but I want you to understand that, I don't want to get involved in illegal situations because you're not one of my agents. Right. And that same agent, she'd been an agent, not just with Central One, but with other companies for 2 years. And this was her first deal. Well, 3 years ago with us, she closed a deal for $16 million. Oh,
wow.
So that's so good to see that agent progress over time.
Right.
But she'd worked with that client that she closed a $16 million deal with numerous times. And, you hear such great success stories. Like one of my agents the other week, we're in a tight market at the moment. It's a listing in Sugarland for $220,000. They made an offer for $225,000. They managed to get it for $225,000 because the lady was, well qualified. She had a little bit more money down for the down payment. It was a multiple offer situation, and the agent and the actual achievement that our agent made, I thought was so good, because they ended up getting it basically for $215,500.
No, that's right.
Which was just an incredible achievement. You've got multiple offers, but they negotiated the price down. To me, a good agent is worth more than, than 3%.
Right.
But they need to earn their money. They need to show value to the client.
Absolutely.
That's the way that good agents go.
Absolutely.
And there's some great agents in the business. But I always say to everybody, find yourself a great agent. A great agent will be worth it all the way down the line. And that's what we want to do. That's what we want to do at Olympian. We want to be above and beyond. We want to be a different level. I say to everybody, give my number out to all my agents, whether you're new, old, or indifferent. We have a great mentoring program, which I think is so important for people to do. But, quite honestly, it's changed so much.
Absolutely. And that kind of brings us to the Olympian table itself, right?
Absolutely. We want
this platform.
We want the Olympian table to be a platform where people can come in, they can learn, we can share ideas. We want people to get involved with it. If anybody's interested in coming in as a guest, we'd love to hear from you. And we can look at getting you at the table. And, that's why it's called the Olympian table. Let's bring you in. If you've got anything to share, you've got anything to offer, come in, make a comment. If you disagree with things we say, make that comment as well. That's perfectly okay. But, we just want to hear from you. We want to get people involved, because I learn from you just as you learn from me. That's an Olympian coaching principle.
Absolutely.
And that's what I love about the business, being Olympian. I'm actually an Olympian coach, but there's a time when you're teaching ice skating, your knees sort of give up a little bit after 2 knee replacements. Right. So, come in and let's learn from one another.
Absolutely. I think it's going to be very beneficial with being able to have a platform where you can talk, and whether you have differing opinions or not, you can talk about it, discuss it, and also come to get great information about what's going on right now in our industry. From a real estate standpoint, from a financial standpoint, and really kind of be in the know of what's going on. That's the whole key to being able to sit down like this.
I just can't believe how quick our market is changing. In so many things, it really is changing.
Right.
It's mind blowing. To be perfectly honest, to really, if you really get into the mechanics of the industry, it's completely changing. The way people even communicate now. The way people market to people. It's just. I really think social media is part of it, but I don't think it's the actual answer to everything. The way you connect with people. People just have so many more choices now, with cash offers on properties and such like.
Right.
I mean, we do all that as well, and a lot of brokers don't allow you to do. I mean, we want people to I want agents who want to be investors in themselves, want to build a business, and want to grow their business, and most of all, offer something to the local community.
Right.
And we're, whether you're in Texas, whether you're in North Carolina and California, that's what a successful agent does. They really are invested in the community and offering a service and a value to the local community.
Absolutely. And I think that gives it all value when you can get to the point to where there's a bit of ownership in it. You feel like there's because quite frankly, I mean, you're contractors. You're working for the company, of course, but
Absolutely.
You're representing this business as your business. So you want to put that effort so that you can be successful in it, and that's with anything.
I've got to tell you, one of the things my father always said, and he's looking me up in heaven now, looking down at me, laughing at me, because he always said, you come into this world with nothing, you leave with nothing. All you've got is good memories and, what everybody thinks of you when you leave. And to be perfectly honest, I think that's more important than anything. It's so important that we all do the right thing. And I think more people need to do that more.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
People need to show a bit of unity. You and me have a lot of different opinions on a lot of things, but you know what? It's an open, it's a healthy discussion. It's the same with people that are in my company. Some people think I'm a little bit rash with things, but the truth of the matter is I want to be truthful to people. If they've got a problem with me, you can tell me.
But you know what? That's what I think I appreciate the most about you. You don't have to guess what you're thinking, because you'll let us know. Sometimes you work with people and they give you this persona of what they think you want them to say, and it ends up not really being a full, true representation of how they feel, and that I don't like that.
That was the problem with my first broker, to be perfectly honest. I felt as if, they wanted you to be a team member, all right, but they only wanted you to be a team member when it was in agreement with what they said. When if it was something different or a little bit outside the box, and I like to be a little bit of a creative thinker, then it was a problem. So, to be perfectly honest, when a new agent comes in and they want me, it's not about the how, it's about the why. So what happens is, if a new agent comes in and they say, well, how do I do da da da? I always ask them first, what would you do? Mm-hmm. And sometimes new agents actually have a better idea than what I have. And I'm thinking,
right.
You know what? That's not a bad idea. And that's what I'm saying. It's all about sharing ideas. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that. The real estate business is not a checklist. It shouldn't be a checklist, but it's got to be done within the ethics of the business. It's got to be done within the ethics. The client always comes first. That's important as well. And that's where I think we as a company, as Olympian, I never wanted to call us Olympian anyway, but to be perfectly honest, but the truth of the matter is the staff that we had at the time decided to call it, Olympian, so I sort of went with it. But the truth of the matter is that's where we are, and I think it's important that you show, but the only way you get anywhere is by working with people, looking at the problems, looking at the solutions, making an educated decision on good knowledge.
Right.
And that's what's so difficult to find now. And that's what we want to do with the Olympian table. We want something that's providing a value to the local people, whether you're a wannabe investor, whether you're a first-time home buyer, whether you're a seasoned investor, whether you want good commercial advice or you want to get into commercial advice. That's where I feel the value is in this table. We want to invite people to the table. And, and we've got a lot of guests coming up that have shown a valid interest.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Whether it be cryptocurrencies, we've got some people interested. We've got some inspectors that want to come to the table, investors, contractors. And if there's anybody that's interested in coming in, we'd love to hear from you.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Let's get a relationship going. Let's get that going. And, as long as we've got some value that we can offer people, I think that's fabulous.
I totally agree. I couldn't agree more with you.
But anyway, James, I want to thank you for your time that you're putting in with this project. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's a real interesting future for everybody.
Oh, yeah.
And let's get some good guests in. I really look forward to, seeing where it takes us. So everybody out there, thanks for joining the table today. Thanks for joining the Olympian table, where real estate starts. And let's get out there and live your dream in the good old fabulous country of the United States of America.